Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life is a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. It's crazy how I came across this. My grandmother showed me this. She asked me, had I seen this thing that she was about to show me? And of course, what I came to find out when I looked at her phone, what she was trying to show me is this Last Supper debaucherous mimicization, if that's even a word, of the Last Supper by Hans with the T at the beginning, Enders. It is absolutely despicable. Make no mistake, not almost on every level. This is debaucherous, degenerate, disgusting, wrong. The actual post that she showed me, there was a reaction from something Michaels. She's the one who did the Biggest Loser, and apparently she is a lesbian, and her post was essentially, if you are asking far right individuals to act a certain way towards us and show us respect and this and that, then we need to also show respect towards them and their faith when at all possible. Now, I do agree with the sentiment, but the thing is, to a certain degree, let me see. I think it's Jillian Michaels. That's her name. It just popped in my head. But the thing is that ultimately, and this is what a lot of conservatives get wrong, is some of these worldviews, some of these ideologies are in complete opposition to one another. They cannot coexist with one another long term. This TRANSSS movement is not compatible with Christianity at all. Now, as a Christian, we are called to love everybody insofar as we don't have genuine hate in our hearts for others. But that also, people misconstrue that and take it to a wrong degree by believing that they cannot critique or provide any pushback or say that or condemning immoral action, which is false as well. You absolutely can. God calls us to bring to light the errors in somebody's ways by showing them the proper way and the light of moral and righteous behavior in line with God's words and commandments. As an Orthodox Christian, sin is the movement away from God. I've heard Jay Dyer describe this as such. It's the moving away from God. So I don't see these people as completely and utterly lost, although in a lot of regards, perhaps they are. They're definitely broken individuals, which I'll circle back to. When I saw this, there was an immediate reaction or thought that spurned up in my mind. But if sinning is moving away from God, then conceivably it is possible to bring people back to God. So in other words, unlike other Christian sects, there are, if we see somebody committing sins and living in a sinful way, the way that we see it as Orthodox Christians, as I said, is just a moving away from God. But you absolutely can be brought back to God. It doesn't take away your actions, but you can bring yourself back to God, your actions back to God, your soul back to God, your essence back to God. Now, my immediate reaction So just to put a nice little bow, and I'm going to read an article on this story in case you guys haven't seen it. I'm not going to play any videos or anything like that. And by the way, this happened at the Olympics. The Olympics are taking place in Paris. Again, I will circle back to that. But just to put a bow on what I'm discussing here, I, as a Christian, do not have hate in my heart for these individuals at all. But it is wrong. It is disrespectful. And again, ultimately, we need to stand firm as Christians, not in hate, but in love for our hearts to bring these people back towards God, because that is the ultimate goal. That is why I'm explaining the Eastern Orthodox viewpoint of sin. Because when you see it in that manner, which is the correct manner, you don't see pointing out sin and error as a hateful act. You see it as a loving act, as bringing them or assisting them in shining a light for them in their path towards God or back to God. Now, there's others that are far more able to express some of these ideas, especially with regards to Christian theology, Eastern Orthodox theology. I do not pretend to be a top, high caliber relayer of Christian theology and information. But what I do know as an Orthodox Christian, that is my thoughts with regards to that. So we don't proceed with hate. It's actually love in pointing out these errors. But my initial thought when I saw this is just, it was, holy crap. This just is proof positive of the immoral, degenerate, debaucherous society that we live in. And our worldviews are absolutely in complete opposition. The worldview of a Kamala Harris, of some of these globalist, far left individuals, is that of evil. They have fallen away from God. And I'm not saying Republicans are perfect either, but they are trying to move society towards a interchangeable of the sexes, where men can be women, women can be men. There's no difference between the two. Therefore, if there's no difference between the two, then having kids and repopulating the earth doesn't need to be a thing. A man can just as easily, in theory, have a kid as much as a woman could. It's very interesting how the ending point of feminism is actually as anti-woman as its beginning point, because in all actuality, feminism is, in a weird way, a enshrining of the masculine spirit, the masculine way of going about life, and trying to tear down whatever needs to be torn down in order to artificially put women in the same light. But of course, as a Christian, you know that that's not possible, because women have their essence and men have their essence. There's a order to things, God's order to things. But I thought to myself, I honestly was not surprised by it. This being taken place in Paris, a country that pulled together in order to keep their liberal globalist leader in place. The West, there are those in the West that are absolutely trying to make this a godless, heathen, paganistic. Well, I guess if you're pagan, you can believe in God, but they're trying to bring this away from a Christian nation. And the West is trying to do that as a whole. They're trying to disintegrate any notion of the Christian God. And so this is why ultimately as Christians, we have failed in a lot of regards because we have not stood strong enough. We have allowed them to batter us and put us down into not having our voices heard, which is wrong. That's equally wrong. We need to stand for what is right, what is just, what is righteous. But I was not at all surprised. This being in Paris, this being a liberal bastion of a decaying society. Paris is crumbling. I did a video a while back that France has fallen. And, I wouldn't be surprised that if in the next 5 years, France is totally, completely turned on its head and is near complete collapse. Because in a lot of regards, that's what Western countries are heading towards. So, but crazy, absolutely crazy. This is yet another reason why I don't really pay attention to the Olympics any longer, because this is not the first time that they've tried to ram degenerate liberal ideals down my throat as a Christian. And I won't stand for it. I have better things to do. I have better things to do with my time, and I'm just not going to do it. So let me pull up one of the articles that I found. There was another thing that I wanted to mention with regards to this, but we'll see if it pops in my head. U.S. and world leaders denounce Paris Olympics opening ceremony mocking of Last Supper. And, again, the Olympics also, I mean, I don't even know anymore if, and I'm pretty sure biological males are now able to compete in the Olympics. I could be wrong about this. They could have given a final decision. Let me see if I can find that real quick, actually. So this is what I found just from a quick, and this is from 13 hours ago, so it seems like a fairly new article. Last year, World Athletics announced that it would ban any athletes who have gone through male puberty participating in women's world rankings competitions. So in other words, unless you are a biological male and the funny thing is, this really only applies to males, because if males do this and go over to female sports, they're going to totally dominate. And they have dominated in the small sample sizes that we do have, which is why it's only male puberty participating in women's world rankings competition. Now, I really don't care much about this, because to me, this is an example of feminism gone wrong. This is, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not trying to turn this into a anti-feminism video, but this is the natural conclusion of feminism, which is the disintegration of any gender differences. Okay. Male puberty participating in women's world rankings competitions. World Athletics President Sebastian Coe has been at the vanguard and says that regulations are here to stay. So anyways, here is the article. Several U.S. and world lawmakers are denouncing the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony after drag queens and artists made a spectacle of the Leonardo da Vinci painting, The Last Supper, which depicts the last meal Jesus had with his apostles. Last night's mockery of the Last Supper was shocking and insulting to Christian people around the world who watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. Mike Johnson, House Speaker, Republican Louisiana, said in a post on X, the war on our faith and traditional values knows no bounds today, but we know that truth and virtue will always prevail. He then referred to the Bible verse, John 1:15, which reads, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it, which honestly, that's a good Bible verse towards what I was discussing, which is why it is okay for Christians to point out when somebody is being sinful and not living their life in accordance with God's law. You are the light that shines in their darkness. Marjorie Taylor Greene had something to say. Here's a picture of it. Like I said, I don't want to show the videos of it because it's I think it'd be sinful, dang near, to do so. The French Olympic Committee has been at work taking down videos of their satanic, trans, and occult opening ceremonies, claiming copyright laws. She wrote, "It's our First Amendment right to share these videos." And then Italy's deputy prime minister said something. Hungary's ambassador to the Vatican made a reference to the beheading of Marie Antoinette, saying, because decapitating Habsburgs and ridiculizing central Christian events are really the first two things that spring to mind when you think of the Olympic Games. And that is the other thing. Like, people tune in, and I totally agree with this sentiment. I first heard Clay Travis talk about it. People tune in to events like this to chill, to relax, to watch people compete at the highest level in some of these eventful artistic events. Okay. They don't tune in to be bombarded with this sort of political. It's crazy that it has become political in a certain regard, and debaucherous scene. That's not what people want. Okay. It's unreal. So that's pretty much it. And then here's a picture of it right there. Them totally making fun of it. The Last Supper. I'm trying to see. And then I saw this too. Apparently Megan Fox's sons are all trans. It's funny. Well, not funny. It's actually very sad. But Megan Fox is the epitome of, I would say, a woman's nature, in large part to its worst possible conclusion in a lot of regards. Okay. She is a carnivorous woman. She totally takes the souls of men. She believes in drinking blood. Okay. This is a satanic woman. And then she has sons, and look at what she does. She literally is okay to take the souls and the essence of her own sons. Okay. I mean, these people are crazy. These people are absolutely insane. And it's very interesting how this carnivore of a woman is able to freely live in her womanhood, yet she openly pushes her sons to rebel against their God-given nature. I mean, it's insane. Here's another picture of the thing. This one's, I mean, so that's pretty much it, guys. Absolutely crazy. But guys, we have to push back against this. We have to be vocal. This is not going to stop. The trans issue is a huge issue. Now, like I said, ultimately, I don't push back against it because of my issue with them competing in women's sports. I don't think it's right per se, but I equally think that feminism is a large reason why this has happened. And I have a major issue with feminism. So it's kind of like one versus the other. Which one came first, the latter or the former? To me, feminism is the bigger focal point to me because it is what started this whole ideology in the first place. If feminism didn't exist, I highly doubt that you'd be seeing any of this in the first place because, as I said, ultimately, the only reason why stuff like this is allowed to happen is because of the disintegration of gender roles and gender dynamics. If you believe that men can be women and women can be men, and there is no essence that makes them them, then why not allow them to compete in one another's sports? So, but I push back against it because these people are broken, and that's what I wanted to discuss. When I see something like this, I just see these broken, damaged human beings, and it really is sad. And that is my biggest concern is these individuals who are going against their God-given nature, uh, and in a lot of regards, they are lying to themselves, telling themselves that they're doing this out of love for themselves. They're lying to themselves by saying that this is always what they were, and that they're only expressing what they have always felt on the inside. But in reality, they're lying to themselves. They're living in defiance of their God-given natural state of being. They're lying to themselves about who they are. And that to me is the saddest aspect of this. And you see it mostly with men wanting to be women, and you see that because these men are looking around and seeing how often masculinity is shamed, and they can't help but think how much better it would be if they were just women. So ultimately for me, that is the thing that I feel the most need to push back against, is these people living in a corrupted state. They're living in a state of lies, and they have completely fallen away from God. And that is very sad to me. And so whatever I can do to shed light upon the truth, or what is really required for them to finally realize some peace within themselves, that is the correct thing to do. And so it's very sad for me to see human beings who believe, because of the lies that they've been told, the propaganda that has been shoved down their throats, that they are moving towards a place of actually achieving that peace, actually being who they were, who they have always been, or are meant to be. And it's very sad to me to see the lies that they are telling themselves in order to do this, because in reality they are really just pushing down who they really are in an effort to achieve this lie. Them doing this is a complete and utter, the whole thing is a lie. And that is what needs to be pointed out. And yes, it's a hard truth. Yes, it's a hard pill to swallow, but ultimately it's their only means towards salvation and getting better, because none of these people are actually happy. None of these people are actually experiencing any further peace from making this sort of decision and living this sort of lifestyle. They have fallen further and further away from God. So all we can do, guys, is voice our concerns, live a good and upstanding life and righteous life. Let our fruits be the message, the representation, so that when they do come across it, it is so obvious that the lies and the deception cannot prevail. That's the best thing we can do. We can pray for these people, and pray that God intervenes in their lives, and makes them um, see what needs to be seen. But yeah, guys, this is very sad, very sad. Because at the end of the day, guys, them showing this on national television is them trying to get others to be a part of their deception, of their lies. And we need to unapologetically refute that and say, no, you are living the lie. You are living the life of sin and corruptedness. So yeah, I don't know what more to say on this matter. I hope that they do find God and, whatever the case may be. But as far as my listeners go, again, this is why, guys, we have to stand firm, because they will not stop. They're going to continue to do this. This is an attempt to tear down the fabric of God's order, the Christian order that has in large part been a part of Western society, but is starting to not be so. They are trying to dismantle any identity that we have once had belonging to the Christian faith. And really, it's not even, yes, it is belonging to the Christian faith, but it's just our natural state of being, because we are, as God, if we are God's creation, we naturally proceed in his world, in who he made us to be. But of course, the earth is corrupted, it's sinful, it's got major issues, and sometimes it overwhelms and overshadows, especially if it's somebody who's susceptible to that sort of information. So yeah, unbelievable, guys. I saw somebody say maybe to boycott the Olympics. If you want to do that, be my guest. Be my guest. There's not, I don't know what's even worth watching these days anyways, as far as the Olympics go. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, continue to stand strong. More and more of you guys are pushing back. I see it every day. Every single day I see it. We cannot allow them to tear down the fabric of what we hold dear, the nuclear family, God's order, and this Christian civilization that we have inherited. We cannot allow it. So continue to stand firm. Do so humbly and respectfully when you can, and with love. Always step with love. But as I've said throughout this video, don't misconstrue telling a lie for love, because it is not love to tell lies and deceive somebody and give bridled truths and half truths and quarter truths. No. That's not how we play it. No, we say what needs to be said and let the chips fall where they may. All right, guys, be sure to smash that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share. You guys know the drill. Let's get this channel to 1,000 scrubs and subs. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts our feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, scrubs. Love you, kings. See you guys next time. Christ is king. Peace.